A patient in a senior care facility dies after being locked in a freezer. Utah's new bill to protect children during custody battles, and Kevin Costner's plans to build a film studio in St. George.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. A senior care facility in St. George is facing the possibility of losing its license following an incident involving a patient with dementia who was found locked inside a freezer and subsequently passed away from her injuries while in the hospital. Chris Reed has further details on the story.
The Meadows of Escalante assisted living facility in St. George has been fined nearly $11,000 and faces the revoking of its license from the state of Utah after a resident with dementia was found locked in a walk-in kitchen freezer and later died. 75-year-old Ricky Rubik was found by staff inside the freezer on January 18th after she had gone missing. Her body temperature was 79 degrees, according to the woman's family, and she had severe frostbite. On January 22nd, she died at St. George Regional Hospital. The Department of Health and Human Services has placed the facility on probation through June after completing an investigation and may revoke the facility's license if there are further violations. St. George Police said no criminal laws have been broken, but Rubik's family say they will be filing a lawsuit.
Thanks, Chris. A new bill in Utah seeks to overhaul child custody proceedings to prioritize the safety and well-being of children. Jesse Bang has more on why this bill came to be.
A bill derived from a 16-year-old boy being killed at the hands of his father aims to protect children during child custody battles. Utah House Representative Paul Cutler is the sponsor of Bill HB 272 Child Custody Proceedings Amendments, which makes child safety the #1 priority in child custody and parenting decisions. The bill makes changes to requirements for expert testimony as well as reunification treatments. It also asks the court to put together a training program for child custody workers to recognize trauma, psychological control, and other signs of abuse.
Thanks, Jesse. Over the years, increasing health insurance costs and salaries have strained city budgets, prompting Utah's local officials to search for solutions. Here's Chris Reed on a new sales tax that could help with the issue.
A local legislator is using a word that politicians don't like to use: taxes. But Utah Representative Joseph Ellison says this tax would go towards funding emergency services and EMS. And the people being taxed would be tourists and those who have a lot of money to spend, not local residents. Ellison's bill, Local Option Sales Tax Amendments, or HB 442, would allow cities and other government entities in Washington County to add as much as a 1% increase in non-food sales taxes, with all the funds to go towards emergency services like EMS and other first responders.
So the idea was a lot of our emergency medical calls are coming from tourists. And so the idea was if we do a sales tax, then we can, the idea with the Hurricane Valley Fire District was we could then actually probably reduce property tax a little bit, if not all, and then replace it with a sales tax and let the gap in the funding come from tourists.
Local cities like Hurricane, Ivins, and Santa Clara have had trouble funding EMS services. The quandary is people want EMS services that are effective and respond quickly, but local leaders say people don't want to pay for it. An attempt to raise property taxes in the hurricane for EMS services was soundly rejected. Ellison and others see the new sales tax bill as a way to raise funds that is more palatable to the public.
Thanks, Chris. The first ever I Love Pets Fun Run took place this past weekend, and St. George News reporter Bridger Palmer has more on this fun event.
February 10th saw wagging tails, panting puppies, and new friends of all shapes and sizes. There were 3 events, a 10K, 5K, and a 1-mile fun run. The winner of the 10K was 13-year-old Brooke Schneider, taking it home on her day off. This was the first year of the I Love Pets Fun Run, and Aaron Metler, the recreational manager for races and events at the city of St. George, hopes that this continues in the future.
Thanks, Bridger. Exciting news for movie buffs living in St. George, as there may be a brand new film studio being built in the upcoming years. Here's Maury Kessler on how this studio will help St. George.
St. George Mayor Michelle Randall announced Tuesday that actor Kevin Costner, who recently filmed a movie in Washington County, aims to build a movie studio in St. George. Called Territory Studios, the facility will boast production and sound stages and be built off Exit 7 of the Southern Parkway. Randall said it is one of many current and up-and-coming projects that will help diversify the city's economy and make it less reliant on the construction industry. The announcement was made during the State of the City address, which usually highlights the accomplishments of the previous year while also giving residents an idea of what to expect for the coming year as well. St. George News spoke with the mayor following the State of the City address about what she hopes residents took from it.
People take away that we are growing, but we're not just growing homes, we're growing businesses, which is really important. With the studio that Kevin Costner is partnering with, that's just another arm to our economic revenue. Instead of construction that we've always been so tied to, now we have Tech Ridge, now we'll have a movie studio, and so that always helps with the economy overall. And like I said in my closing, we live in an amazing place, and people love it here, and that's why they keep coming.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.